it's Darius from DariusCooks.tv. Now, what the world needs more of is quick dinners, and well, I'm here to help you out. My crispy Cajun scallops cook up in literally no time at all, and they go extremely well with my sweet corn rice pilaf that I am going to show you how to make. You're going to be in absolute love. All right, to get started, what I want to do first is I want to get some heat onto a skillet, right? So I'm gonna put some heat onto a skillet, and I wanna get some olive oil down into the skillet. What is this going to be for? This is going to be for the sweet corn, the garlic, the onion, the celery, and the bell pepper that we're going to start to sweat off in this pan. I'm just gonna put it in, right? This is that corn, lovely, good summer sweet corn. That's even good to have raw. I love it raw. Now, you could chop up your onion and garlic if you wanted to. This is a store-bought mix. I just added the garlic and the corn. Save me time, save me money. As soon as the mixture starts becoming nice and fragrant, you just want to hit it with a little bit of garlic powder and also lots of really good black pepper. So now that the corn and the garlic and the onion and celery, all this good vegetable base is starting to permeate, smell really good, I'm going to add in some rice, and I'm using the basmati rice. That's the rice that I happen to prefer. Be careful, things will pop. And I'm also gonna use a half a cup of vermicelli. This is leftover from when I had pasta night a couple of nights ago. What I like to do is I use the leftover vermicelli in the pilaf so it gives it nice body, nice texture, and it's a really great way to use up leftover pasta. All right, so I'm just gonna stir this up, and if I notice that the pan is a little dry, I'm just gonna add in a few drops of olive oil just to moisten everything up and get everything nice and going. Just like that, yep. And I'm just gonna give it a stir just to make sure all of the oil and the rice and pasta has a chance to marry and become one. All right, rice is nice and toasted. You wanna get it to a nice golden brown, and the ratio is always gonna be 2 to 1. So it is 1 part rice, 2 part liquid. In this case, it was 2 cups combined, the vermicelli and rice, basmati. So I'm gonna put in 4 cups of water. Now, I could just use water by itself, and while that would be really good, I like to bump up the flavor a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in a little bit of chicken bouillon right into here, and then I've got a little bit of beef bouillon as well. I like the combo of adding the chicken bouillon and the beef bouillon. It gives it a really great complexity of flavor. And all you want to do is stir it really well just to make sure everything is super combined. Now I love what's happened here. The liquid, right, has started to cook out. It's been absorbed by the water, it's been absorbed by the pasta. All the flavors are married, and this is how you make the perfect pot of pilaf of rice, right? We cook all the liquid out after we toast it. I am now going to turn the heat off because, as you can hear, it's crackling, right? Look at that delicious steam. I put a lid on, I let the lid sit, I move this to the back of the stove, and in about 10 minutes, I'm gonna use a fork to fluff it, and you're going to see we're going to have the most amazing pilaf ever. Now, while the pilaf is doing its thing, I've got these delicious scallops here. Now, these are sea scallops. They have sea scallops, they have bay scallops. These are medium-sized sea scallops. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make them Cajun, but with a little crisp on them as well. And let me tell you, there's nothing better than a delicious scallop. I remember the first time I had scallops, right? They're like this sort of meaty situation, but there's this sweet overtone to a scallop, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? What have I been completely missing out on all this time? Scallops are delicious. Now, some people like to sear their scallops where the inside's still sort of, you know, like a medium, if you will. I like to cook mine all the way through, and you can cook yours to whatever temperature you like. So I've just went ahead and took the scallops and patted them dry with a paper towel, because moisture is going to be the enemy of this whole process, okay? And then we're gonna do a few things to sort of Cajun them up, if you will. So in a little bowl, I've got some Old Bay seasoning. I'm putting in a little bit of black pepper and then some garlic, right? I think all of these are wonderful flavor components that go really well with anything sort of Cajun style. But I'm gonna bump it up a little bit. So I've got a prepared Cajun seasoning. Any one of your favorite Cajun seasonings will work. Cajuning seasoning, blackening seasoning, all of that is gonna be fantastic in here. So Cajun seasoning, a little bit of Old Bay, some garlic powder, some black pepper, and then surprisingly a little bit of sugar, okay? The sugar is gonna help balance out a lot of the heat that this whole situation brings together, and it's gonna be really, really good. So I'm just gonna mix this with my fingers and then sprinkle this right on top of the scallops. All right, so I've got them nice and sprinkled. I'm just gonna give them a good toss, right? And this is what you wanna do just to make sure every piece of your scallops are coated really nicely with that delicious Cajun seasoning. And then lastly, got a little bit of flour. So I'm just gonna get a spoon, and this is what's gonna help us achieve that really nice crisp that we're looking for, is a little bit of all-purpose flour that we're just gonna sort of dust this with and roll these around, because these are gonna sort of fry up in the skillet, and we wanna make sure that we get that nice crusty edge that's gonna make this so good. Now, if you are not a scallop fan, and most people typically ask me like, okay, cool, Darius, I'm not really into scallops, what else could I use? Anything. This works with chicken. This works with, pork medallions. This will work with nice pieces of fish. This will definitely work with shrimp or other types of seafood. Let your imagination run wild. What I'm showing you is not necessarily a recipe, but more of a template or guide to get you from sort of point A to point B. All right, so these are nicely coated. These look really, really good. I'm just gonna give my hands a quick wash and get this gunk off of my hands. All right, hands are nice and clean. Here's the fun part. I've got a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. All right, you can just put that in. Lovely olive oil. That skillet's nice and hot, right? While I was talking, the skillet was preheating, and that's one of the insurance policies to make sure we're really gonna get that nice crispy skin. All right, you could immediately see what happens. That skillet starts to waft, the smoke starts to happen. We're ready to go. We're gonna drop these scallops right into this oil. All right, after a few minutes, the first side of these have cooked up. They're nice and brown. You can hear them frying up. I'm just gonna give them a flip and get the other side nice and toasty and brown as well. Oh yeah, these look amazing. Oh yeah. All right, while the scallops are just about finishing with their delicious fry, you can get it nice and crispy, I've got a couple of scallions. I'm just gonna thinly slice those so we have something to garnish on top of our pilaf and our scallops. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. I know our rice pilaf is done and ready to go. So this is that sweet corn rice pilaf. I'm just gonna take the lid off and look at the steam. Look at that steam escape. That's how you know we're in good territory. That's exactly what you wanna see happen. And I'm just gonna use a spoon and just sort of fluff the rice up. And you could see, man, just how delicious this is, how all of the rice, the granules are nice and separate. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to delicious sweet corn rice pilaf, just like this, and it was simple to do. So I'm just gonna spoon some of the pilaf right onto my plate, just like this. I wanna get a lot of that good, real good sweet corn. And then look, these crispy scallops, right? Crispy Cajun scallops, which literally cook up in no time at all. These are ready to go. So look at that. Look how golden brown and delicious those look. So I'm just gonna add a couple of those right to my plate. Oh man, nice and seared, delicious the way it's supposed to be. Got a little bit of scallion action right on top, just for some color and some green. And I've got my fork and I wanna get in here and get a bit of this. I'm I want to get both actually. I'm going to get some scallop action. Oh man, they're so tender and juicy. And I want to get some of this sweet corn pilaf right in my mouth. It's hot. It's hot. Oh. Immediately, you get that sweet corn and the pilaf that happens with a little bit of that oniony goodness that really comes through. Nice and sweet and caramelized. The scallops, super crunchy, super crispy. And the scallops have that Cajun, so it brings that heat with that sugar, so it balances the whole thing out. You have to give this a try. Recipes like this, you know exactly where they're going to be. On my website, it is dariuscooks.tv. Listen, y'all, 2 things I gotta tell you as I always do, all right? Food is my life, life it is my food. Until next time, with food as delicious and easy as this, I wanna wish you happy cooking. From my heart to yours. Bye, y'all.